this episode might have been kind of hard to watch for King V, but oh my god, dude,
Dude,
he's the
so good.
MVP of not only this
I know.
episode but this series. King Viserys is by far, and
I love him.
Patty's performance as him. Oh, it's so
I
fucking great,
is
dude. Oh, I love it.
so good. Like, okay, he took you on an emotional roller coaster in this episode. Like when you
Oh,
see him
here,
laying in the
hold on.
bed. Yeah,
Oh,
go
just
ahead.
let's remember him in his prime too,
Yes,
not the
rest
way
in
we see him
peace.
here,
Rest in
but
power, dude. Rest in power. When they show him in the bed and he's in such horrible shape at the beginning of this episode, didn't it
yeah.
just break your heart, dude?
Oh, I know, dude. Yeah, it looked really bad when you first see him here, and here I'll pull up of him sitting in his bed, and immediately when I saw him, I thought, well, first off, when you come into his room here, right, it looks like a hospital, right, with all
It
like the
does,
sheets
yeah,
and
it
stuff,
does.
and you kind of get this like kind of gross look to it. Also, his
Ah, it's
bottles of
so
old
sad,
delirious, old
dude.
cobwebs. You're like, oh, his legacy is
I
just
know.
fading into memory. But yeah, he's laying here, and you're like, oh my
Oh my god.
god, my boy,
And
and then
then
he
it gets
yeah.
worse too. I was gonna say it gets worse when you find out that he's when Damon has to come in and like sniffs that drink because we knew it from the beginning though. Like I know you're on Team Black and you love the high
Oh
towers and all that
no,
stuff, but
green.
or green.
Sorry,
I'm
I
sorry. I'm
said
sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, green. But dude, they are doing our boy real dirty in this. Milk of the poppy. They're drugging this guy up.
well,
God.
well, they kind of show later on that right. Some of it is very like, hey, let's keep him a little slippery in the brain here.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but at the same time, he is in horrible pain. Now, the Maesters are probably not treating his shit right, and I hope we get to the bottom of what's actually going on with King V
Yeah.
because you see
Seriously.
people around him like Otto and even Lara Strong. They got older too, right? But they did not look nearly as bad. And Westerling, dude, the commander of the Kingsguard,
He
looking
looks
fucking
great.
great in this.
I know. Well, there's a few people in this. First of all, Otto Hightower, Westerling, like you said, Kristen Cole. These people don't age. These
Right,
people are ageless since episode 1 of the series. So it's like I don't know
right.
what they're drinking, but that should be in King V's tea, not milk of the poppy. I'm just saying, man.
Also, I'd like to think that in this scene, this is the showrunners giving us a little Seinfeld hint here of him being a golden pirate, little pirate shirt action here,
Oh
see
yeah,
little ruffles.
exactly. Yeah, puffy shirt, exactly, dude. It's like the pirate shirt mixed with Golden Boy. Remember Jerry's lucky shirt?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, so that's like double whammy here for us.
Double whammy Seinfeld. That's why this episode was so good. But dude, it's like you're saying. We were saying this off air earlier. I don't know how people aren't watching this show, and anybody that says it's bad, they're literally just outrage culture, right? Like it has to
Yes,
be
right.
because this show is so good. I don't care what kind of woke bullshit people think is in the show, or even that might be in the underlying, like females in charge, whatever. This show is so good. The intrigue is there. This is everything Game of Thrones was, at least
Right.
to me.
Yeah, what interests me because as much as there's not a huge looming mythical creature like the White Walkers in the
Yeah,
distance that
yeah.
are approaching, and I mean they have dragons front and center in this, but there's not kind of like that part of it. Yeah, I that doesn't ruin it for me that there's not that part of it. This is what I love the most is the political intrigue, like the Tywin Lannisters, the
Who?
Lady Tyrell,
Oh,
basically
right.
the
Yes,
Tyrell's
yes.
matriarch anyway
Well, and
in that. So
I was thinking about it when this episode was on because I was thinking about how fast they get around, like from Dragonstone back to King's Landing to Driftmark
yeah,
back to King's Landing all the time. And I was thinking, like, that was a big complaint of mine at the end of Game of Thrones. Like, it's like fast travel mode, right? Like they're on
right,
fast
right.
travel mode of Westeros. And I thought, why doesn't that make this bad? And I just thought, or I reached the conclusion, it's because when they did it in Game of Thrones, they were taking away from the political stuff. The fast travel was not to make room for more intrigue. It was
Right.
to make room for like dumb battles and like stuff we don't care about. This show keeps everything that's important there. So the
Well,
fast traveling really just gets rid of filler. It's great.
right, but I wouldn't say it's fast traveling because all the stuff that's happening in this series thus far is happening where Drift Mart or Drift. I keep saying Drift Mart like
Yeah,
Walmart. Drift Mark,
it's
uh,
discount, that's for sure.
yeah, Dragonstone and King's Landing, and they're all in the Crown Land. So if you look on a map, they're actually pretty close to each other, and it doesn't seem like they're able to get to each other like right away. But it still takes a little bit of time for them to
Okay, well,
approach each other.
I
So
just looked
they're
at a
not
map
fast
earlier
traveling
today and I
at
did not
all.
see any of these locations you're talking about. So
All right, well,
I
bend
don't know.
over. I'm about to show you. So
Okay.
right away, let's go back right to Drift Mart, right?
Yep.
The discount.
Bam, 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 bam. I was thinking of Home Depot, but dum, dum, dum.
Yeah, you love this home improvement style throne here. You love. as they started this episode off, I was thinking about you, Gator. I was thinking, oh, you're gonna love that. Basically, the whole catalyst of this episode is who's gonna sit on the driftwood
Oh
throne.
yeah, everybody's chomping at the bit to sit in the
They
driftwood throne.
are.
They're literally drawing straws to see who's like hoping they're not going to sit on it. Look at this.
Yeah,
Look
right.
at the armrest, dude. One arm is like 6 inches higher than the other one. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, I don't think whoever was making this was a sound mind based off the dimensions
No,
and
they were
everything
doing.
here. But
They were taking whatever King V's taking.
right, but so they're Corliss is injured. We don't know if he's dead or not, but in the off chance he dies, now this is coming up as oh well, who's gonna take over for him? I
Yeah,
really
who's it gonna
wish.
be?
I feel like this conversation should have been had, but I think it was just gonna happen. That was gonna be Jace, not Jace.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Luke.
No, it
Uh,
wasn't Luke,
Luke.
was it?
Yeah,
It's
no, it's
oh no,
no,
Yeah,
Jace is the
Jace is the one that's the heir for the Iron Throne.
yes.
Okay,
So
yeah.
Luke was supposed to take over, but because there's such a this animosity towards Rhaenyra's strong boys that that there's going to be a little bit of poo-pooing by Vaemond in this episode, which he's as much as I didn't really like him at all. He at least is speaking the truth in
Oh
this
yeah, yeah.
episode.
And also his acting chops. Not gonna lie, this actor, I
Oh,
definitely think
dude.
more fondly of him in this episode than in previous ones for sure. He
Oh
stepped
yeah,
it up.
yeah. When he was in the Stepstones fighting the crabs, he's just like, "We're fucked." He's giving me very George Costanza like vibes. Like,
Go, pushing people out of the way, trying to get out as fast as he can. Old women, children.
dude, but yeah, if see, he's trying to make this plea, to at least Otto because it's really not the king there, but he knows the ramifications that will happen if you say, "Oh yeah, I guess Luke isn't the rightful heir to the throne because he's a bastard kid." And you're like, "All right, well, that line of logic just now sets a chain of reactions that's going to cause
Yes, yes. No,
Rhaenyra." So it's like, oh, this one decision has to be perfectly executed.
it's great reasoning. The execution was a little poor in the end because he let his emotions get to him. But this whole interaction, it reminds me of why Rhaenyra sucks so much, or like why I hate Rhaenyra so much. Because like there's a right way and a wrong way to go about like these manipulations. Like when she's talking to Rhaenys later. Sorry to go off tangent a little bit here,
No,
but
you're good.
she's talking to Rhaenys later, and she tells him like, "Listen, I did not have anything to do with the death of your son. I didn't order his death. I had no part in it. And that is true. Yeah, well, it's
Yeah,
true because her son's not dead, right? So she's not lying there. But this kind of stuff where she's just like, my children are the legitimate heirs. They are by blood Valerian. It's like, okay, why are you playing it up so hard?
I
Like
know.
everybody knows, dude. Everybody knows. Just ignore it at this point, you know?
Dude, it's as convincing as me standing up in front of the class saying, "That's not piss running down my leg." Meanwhile, you could literally see it coming from my crotch and it's smelling like urine in front of the class. And I'm like, it's not pee. It is not.
Well, to
It
be fair,
is.
you were very hydrated when that happened. So I mean, that could have been water. It could have
That's
been a
true.
bit.
I'm a very hydrated person. But this scene is so good as you see kind of like, oh, do you think quick another side note for Vayman. This is the best play he has for the driftwood throne
It
here,
is
right?
the
It
only
is
play
just
he has.
the only time he can he's if his brother dies, which I don't know if he really wants his brother to die or not. He's just this is the best time to do it. If I don't take this opportunity when King V is on his deathbed and I have Otto in my pocket being like, hey, if I play for the Greens, I can get my blood on the throne, not have those white boys sit on the
Yeah,
driftwood throne.
white boys.
It almost
Yes,
felt like a race thing at one point when he was looking so angry.
no, I know it did.
It was
The only way to remind yourself that it's not is that these guys are not black in the books or whatever. So
right,
it's
right.
like they're not going for that at all.
Right. No, and I think you just read into whatever you want of it, but yeah, he goes like he's making his case, and oh, what are the chances that you have everything lined up for you to take the driftwood throne, and then old King V like a fucking boss?
Oh my
That's
dude.
dude. This scene was just like, oh my
I know.
god.
This is when I texted you and I was just like, oh, like King V Alpha, dude. I was like, I can't even describe it, dude. I was happy. Okay. It's almost like King V was out of the show, like sick for like 6 seasons or something. And we waited years to see him again. And like, then we finally, it's like Star Wars, right? Like when
Yeah,
episode 6 of Star Wars came out, waiting like 20 years for the prequels to come out or whatever.
yeah.
It's like the excitement going to the movie theater that night, the 20 years later, it's like the king is back finally, except it's been like one episode. Not even. We just
A
saw him
week.
sleeping in
I
bed.
know.
Like,
Yeah, and the way this scene is orchestrated too, where he comes in so frail and
You feel the weight of
weak.
it.
You see that gold thing over his face. I think I have another shot of it of him walking, and
That's cool too. I like that gold. I like that gold plate.
yeah, it's pretty good to cover up the face. I mean, it's better than whatever those wraps that he had on that are probably underneath it. But these people, as they like call out his name, the King Viserys, you know,
Yeah, King of the Andals of the First Men. I know it's so good.
you're just like, oh yes,
It's
and he, oh, you can just see the weight of this fucking crown on him as he's carrying this family.
Yeah,
He's
and his
doing
huge
every
dick too, because he is owning this room. Seriously, the presence is all him. And yes, you feel the weight of this traveling across the room. They took their time. They showed the full duration of him walking across. Oh man, I can't even. This scene was so good. And also when Damon eventually helps him get up the stairs at the end too, that's actually super emotional as well.
so
You
good.
know, it really is because Damon does care about his brother. I think he does.
He does care about his brother, but he has such this weird like dynamic with his brother because he pushes him away because he knows he was pushed away, right?
Yes.
Damon was pushed away
Yes.
from the series, and that might have been a little bit of Otto conniving in there to push Damon away. But in his defense, Damon was like cutting off dick and balls as soon as he had the city watch. So I don't know if it's ill found his
Okay. Okay. To each his own.
you're true.
Everybody has their
Yeah,
hobbies.
true. But Damon's pushes Viserys away, and then Viserys just wants Damon to be by his side as much as he can. And now it's like, oh my brother, like look, he's so weak. Oh, I want to. And there's so many scenes in here where Matt Damon does this thing with his eyes where he tries to avoid eye contact to see how much pain his brother's in. And he
You just said Matt Damon, which is funny
did I
because
say Matt Damon?
it's kind of right. Yeah.
Sorry, it's Matt Smith,
Yeah.
Damon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He does this thing with his eyes where he like shows pity and tries to avoid seeing the weakness of his brother, but it's like, oh my, it's so subtle, and it's, I don't know,
No,
I just
I
love his
know exactly what
performance
you
in
mean,
this scene.
dude. The acting in this is next level. Yeah, I wish,
And he puts it on
dude.
his head here. Oh,
I
I'm
know
just like,
it's
oh,
so good
this scene
too.
almost got me. I was like, oh,
Dude, you know what scene got me? Well, we'll talk about it actually in a little while. Well, maybe we won't talk about it in this video. I don't know. The dinner party after this?
yeah, we'll do a dinner party in another video.
Okay.
I just want to kind of focus on King V here. We'll talk a little bit about it, but I don't want to go into the details of the other siblings. We just want to focus on King V here in this scene
Yes.
because he does crush it here. And then as soon as he he gets up there, he's like, so what the hell's going on here? I thought
Well, this is where you realize
he's
too
just settled.
how much the milk of the poppy really was affecting him because he's like has his full bearings after this, you know, at least
Right.
cognitively, he's got his full bearings about him, and yeah, I do like that too. He's just like this big epic walkabout all the way up to the Iron Throne, sits down, and he's just like, "All right, I mean, this is decided, right? Like we can all leave."
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
it's like,
like, what are we even talking about here? Yeah, and it's name Vayman makes his plea where he's like, come on, what the fuck is going on here? He's like, who's his name? Will Ferrell and Zoolander. He's like, am I on fucking crazy pills
yeah,
over here?
Mugatu,
Yeah, exactly.
the Black Mugatu, and well, dude,
Mugatu.
I love to, but when he's done with his plea and he calls the kids bastards, King V again. We're not done jerking him off. He
Yeah.
stands up. He's gonna go
Oh,
take his tongue out himself. He's gonna
I
go do it.
know. Which
Oh,
might be a sign of him actually his like male vitality. What is it where it becomes his like basically dick energy
oh,
because he's
virility.
virility, yeah, his male virility, whatever. He is able to get it up for a long period of time when he was very gross looking. He was still pumping out kids. I think there's
Yeah, he
one more
was.
kid that Allison and him have that we haven't seen yet. And that's
Really?
another, yeah, yeah. There's been a lot of
What
kids I think
the?
get behind the scenes that they really need to do a better job of showing. But yeah, in this
What?
scene, you see how much how quickly he can get it up if he wants to. All that energy, just like, I'll take your tongue for this. And
I'll take
dude,
your tongue, boy.
dude, and just like that, dude. Oh,
I can't even.
oh,
It's yes, dude.
so
Damon,
good.
man, he's chopping heads down in King's Landing. You know the little heads, and he's getting the big heads right here. Do you think he was out of line for doing this? Like, I feel like Corlys is still alive, and he's going to come back and learn what happened, and he's going to change his tune now. I almost think this was a dumb thing to do.
Yeah, I think it was a little overreaction because he would have just like, hey, let's take out his tongue. And at least Corlys has his brother that has is the tongueless brother versus the headless brother. Well, I mean, I guess we don't know what Vaemon would have wanted. Maybe he wanted to keep his tongue this whole time.
And we don't know
So let's not speak for him.
If Corlys is a eugenicist. You know what I mean? Like finds out his brother has a disability of any kind, he might kill him anyway. So maybe Damon did him a favor.
So then we get King V in the dinner party here. Let me grab and when we see him in the shot, it's just so sad to see him like in his like I wouldn't say true form, but like without his shit on, and you're just like,
Yes.
oh
Yeah, you really understand how bad he's doing, man. It's rough. It's really rough. But this scene, after he gives his whole speech and his Alicent and Rhaenyra give their toasts, and I think it's Jace, right? Jace asks his daughter to dance,
yes,
even though it's just to get at Aegon. Viserys doesn't know that.
right.
So, like, to see him kind of looking at his family and thinking everybody's getting along, and he does crack a little smile, dude.
Yeah,
That
this is him. This is the most happy we see him in this
it
at
is.
the end here.
And this is what I was gonna say. This moment almost got me, dude. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
watched this at work, and if I wasn't at work, I may have shed a tear because like I love when Damon. I love when Viserys is happy, man. Like
I know.
he kills it on screen, man. It's gonna be really sad now seeing the show without him.
I know. Let's just go back. Let's remember him how he really is. Right here.
Yes,
Look at him.
there he
Oh, he's
is.
so good.
That's him.
Oh,
That's
that's
our
him.
guy. I almost want to go back and rewatch episode 1 now. I really do.
I fucking love King V. Yeah, in this scene, you see him. He's just like, I wish he would have kind of died right here, but they do stuff later on to set up the future
Oh
reality
yeah.
later on. But I almost wish he kind of just died right here, just happy, just like my family all around enjoying themselves, and you almost kind of get a glimpse of the different reality, what could have been if like somehow things didn't always like people made better decisions. Like Rhaenyra didn't lie to Alicent about her and Damon, right? And
Yes.
then maybe if Otto didn't have such a hard on against Damon, right? Or if Damon wasn't so cruel, maybe this wouldn't be happening either. There's like all these little things that could have had a chain reaction that would have caused this family to be so happy, happier than where they clearly are now.
Oh, I know, dude. It's like every single person is in their own way a little shitster besides King V. He's like the one true glue of the family. And I'm glad he's in this position too, by the way. Because imagine if he wasn't king. Do you think that the house would be in any way as durable as it is? I mean, this thing's what do you want to say when something's
Well,
super fragile? It's made of what? It's made of paper mache as it
yeah, it's
is.
a house of
But
cards. Yeah.
it is a house of cards. But imagine if King V was not in the exact position he was in. Like, what if he wasn't king? What if Damon had been king this whole time and King V
Well, not
was
even.
just on the side? Like, it would have been, or even
I think
Rhaenys, you know?
that's what I was about to say. Rhaenys and with Corlys, especially with their situation with the sword swallower Laenor,
Right.
that it probably would have caused troubles there as well, especially if his T levels aren't high enough for him to impregnate a woman. There would have been the same issue right now that they are having. So I don't know how this would have been really avoided with picking the heirs between Rhaenys and Series here, but oh, dude, I know he is the glue that keeps everything together. And
He
though
is.
he kind of compromises and really kind of burns other people by splitting the difference, he's trying his best to keep everything together. And yeah,
Well, and
there's
he,
a
he
shot.
successfully does it, though. I don't think we would have peace this long without him, you know?
That's true. Yeah, and that's the other thing with Jacaerys too, his predecessor, his grandpa. That sure he might have laid the groundwork for future conflicts like between Rhaenys and Viserys, but without him, like by doing that, he did prolong the civil war, or whatever
Yes,
conflict.
yes.
And he just kicked the can down the road. But I love the shot of Otto. I grabbed this too. Just so funny. It was just a funny shot.
He's like humoring the dance, right? That's what this
Yeah.
is.
Yep.
Well, it seems, and look at Allison too. It legitimately looks like they're all having a good time here. So yeah, this is probably one of the best scenes of the episode, and it's one of the emotional roller coaster bumps you go on, like a little
Yeah.
bit of a high right here, because like you said, this does give us a little glimpse into what it would be like if they actually got along. It almost tricks you into thinking they are getting along.
Yeah.
Literally, it almost does, especially because Allison and Rhaenyra's toasts are actually like super convincing. It's not until you start getting to the young boys' toasts where it starts really getting
Yeah.
obvious, but at least Aemond waited until King V was gone to do his, because Jace's actually seemed sincere in the eyes of King V too. So I don't know, man. I'm just glad that he ended up going off on a high note in a way. Like he didn't die
Right.
and
Yep.
thinking his family all hated each other. So I'm glad, man. They did him some justice.
Yeah. I think we see a little bit of mending between Alicent and Rhaenyra
I,
in
I
this
think
scene.
so. Yeah.
But unfortunately, they've poisoned their kids so much that they can't like solve that. It's like almost ingrained in them now how much they hate the opposite side for reasons that are outside of their control too. Because with Aemon and Aegon, stuff like that. Aegon is just like a piece of shit.
Dude,
But well,
Aegon is the worst.
I think we're good with this.
Yeah, we're
King
good. We'll
V
talk. We'll talk about the rest of it in the next video.
King V is the yeah. I guess we'll say one last thing about King V. Poor King V, the worst timing to remember a conversation with
Oh
Rhaenyra.
my,
He's like,
yes.
yeah, I was going to finish that one conversation I had with you earlier, and basically this gives Alicent the ammunition she needs to
Okay,
then
somehow she could have
claim
just
for it.
said this shit anyway. No one's listening to this. This
True.
is,
Well, I'm just
yeah, I
saying
think it's,
that
yeah.
I think it justifies her reasoning in it all, but I think we'll talk a little bit more about the lines being drawn between Team Black and Team Green. But rest in peace, our king.
Rest in
Long may
power,
he
baby.
reign.
Oh,
King
there he
V.
is again.
Oh, we love him.
We do, and we never
Oh,
will
well,
stop.
yeah, well, let us know what you think about King V. Smash that like button, like King V's thinking about smashing Emma, his wife. You see right there. As the final words we hear from him in this series is "my wife" or
Hmm.
my love," as he's finally returning with her in the is it heavens or whatever.
I don't
What
know.
are the
He's hanging
fucking
out with the seven. I was looking it up. I guess there's just one god with 7 components. So I don't know. He's
yeah?
up. Regardless, he's chilling with God and his first wife. So
He's clapping her cheeks. Smash that clap that subscribe button.
clap
Clap
the
that like.
subscribe button. Clap them both.